I'm Jamie S. Rich. I've been working in comics for 20 years. Join me as we dig a little deeper into how comic books are made and get to know the people who make them. This is From the Gutters.
All right, well, now we've moved over to the bar. We've got some drinks to soothe the pain.
Yes,
I want
yes.
to talk editorial horror stories. Because freelancers, God love them, can drive us crazy. And
My life is a dream. There's never any problems. What are you,
Never.
crazy?
Not when you work with me. I'm a great freelancer.
Yeah, there's always a nightmare. I think my fun one from way back, because it echoes back to itself, was a very, very well-known penciler who was, we were working on a book that had like 7 different artists on it. I'm not going to name the book. I'm not going to name the penciler. But this was a notorious penciler in the terms of delivery, and we knew it. And Diana was editing the book at Kimiko, and she lied about the deadline by about 8 months. And of course, we went beyond that time, and one excuse after another. And the last excuse, well, we were given a FedEx number. Oh, it went out. Here's the number. And we didn't get it. So Diana finally lost her cool because, we got to get the book to the printer. And the excuse given was, I gave it to my wife and I put it in the back of the Jeep. And she didn't send it, which doesn't answer the question, why would you give us a FedEx number that never
If you didn't send it.
a FedEx number? So we don't have we're tracking nothing, right? So, but we did get it. I would think it was 2 pages that we're waiting for 12 months or 18 months, whatever. It was some ridiculous amount of time. And we finally got it, and we made the deadline, and that was great. And we stayed far afield from that person never again, who was a super talented, great person to know, but you just couldn't rely on them. So years later, I'm working with another talent who's a colorist who was outrageously late on everything, and I was stuck with them because somebody wanted to work with him. And a few years prior to me being stuck with this person, I told them the story about, hey, they lied and said that it was in the back of the Jeep and da-da-da-da. And this person, now it's 5 years later and I'm working with this colorist and I'm not getting the material. It's not coming in. I'm not getting it. Now I'm getting angrier and angrier and angrier. And I finally get them on the phone and they say, well, you know what happened? I gave the package to my wife and she put it in the back of the car and it just fell behind something. And, oh, wait a minute, you told me this story. I'm like, yeah, I told you about what so-and-so did back in the 80s, and here it is in the middle of the 90s, and you're trying to feed me the same pile of garbage. And it still took me 2 or 3 more weeks before I got the material from them. The same person told me once that they had the job all done, but their dog threw their computer in the pool. Okay, and I know that person is like, if they had a pool, that was impossible because it wasn't an in-ground, It was an above-ground pool, so it wasn't going to happen. But
I had one freelancer claim that he had dropped the pages of artwork into the FedEx bin by the Kinko's, and so it should have gone out. So then he went and looked and asked, and someone checked for him, and it had fallen flat against the back of the bin, and so the guy didn't see it when he pulled everything else out, but it was standing up perfectly straight. Like, that doesn't even make no lick of sense.
Total bullshit. Yeah. No, it's that's part of being an editor, is to be able to go, wow, I can smell that one. That's total bullshit. The yin to that yang is, you have the nice moment where you actually are sniffing. I had a moment with Judd Winnick. And he was really late. I was working with him at DC, and he was super late. And I called to kind of go unga bunga and scream because he was really screwing me over. And I called, and within milliseconds, I went, no, I'm not going to scream. I'm not even going to talk about it. And I don't know why, but I just knew. Let it go. He'll either bring us there or we'll just ignore it and I'll call him tomorrow. I just had this feeling. So the next day I get this email from Judd going, man, I can't thank you enough for that call yesterday. We just shot the breeze and just had a great chat. And 2 days prior to that call, I found out that his uncle, who was kind of like a second father to him, had just passed away. I think he passed away, or he had some major heart attack or something. And it was just devastating. And he didn't say it. He didn't have it. I just felt that this is the time to just let it go, just relax and let it chill. And, you know, those are the good moments where you go, oh, okay, fine, you know. Then there are the moments where a freelancer is hiding from you beyond belief, and I couldn't get them to answer my calls. Their girlfriend at the time was my rat. She would always rat him out. Right. And she's not answering my calls, and I just got desperate, and I knew where his mother worked. And I called his mother. And just, you know, said, look, you know, being very irresponsible, and I have a job to do, and I'm going to lose my job. And I know that you're interested in helping him in his career, but I really would appreciate it if you could get him to call me. And she was great. She's like, I absolutely understand, and this is not like my son. He shouldn't be doing this. And I got a call 10 minutes later. It's like, hey, man, don't ever call my mother again. And I said, hey, man, don't ever try to screw me like this again. I got a deadline to make, you know. That was the only time I called somebody's mom. But, hey, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Well, I made my deadline, you know.
One of my craziest is that a series Diane and I were editing, and it was like a 12-issue bi-monthly miniseries that was in its third year already. And she had edited it and given it to another editor, and then it came back to us when that editor left Dark Horse, and then it was like, you finish this, Jamie, because I'm sick of this book. And so I'm sitting there balancing and learning to use the levy cards of like, well, the penciler and it's waiting to be paid, and the colorist is waiting to be paid, and the writer was the one screwing everybody over. And I can't, same thing, can't get him on the phone, can never find him. Come into work one morning, there's a message waiting, and it's him. Jamie, I'm on this island in the Caribbean, and it's a small island, and I'm in the hotel, and there's only one phone, it's in the lobby, and you can call it, here's the number, but chances are someone's going to pick up and they can't speak English.
Beautiful, yeah.
So I call it, and I don't know who it was. If it was him, and they're going, unga bunga, unga bunga. But
we're roasting a pig. Call back later.
And so then I think I left a message on his actual answering machine. It was just like, how dare you?
Right.
And this was a big deal guy. It's Chris Claremont. I'm going to say it.
The hell of it. It's Claremont. Who cares? The other nightmare was at Oni, where I approved a book that I was totally wrong about.
That's right.
and had offered a certain amount of, like, okay, no, we'll pay you, and you know, and it was these two folks who were writing it, and an artist who has, at the time, nobody knew, but who has come to a great place in the marketplace right now. He's one of the best paid artists in the business, and he was good then, but he wasn't as good as he is now.
And I know he doesn't like that book. So.
No, he doesn't. He hates it. And I carried that book like a, you know, Christ with the cross for years, and then I find out from you, oh, he hated that book.
Yeah, he's like, oh, why did we do that, Jamie?
Yeah.
Why?
But Joe Nosmak was like, Schreck, really? It's like, oh, sorry. So what do? I call them up and go, oh, we can't pay you. Oh, no, it's okay. We'll do the book. Well, we can't. We're not going to market it at all. No, that's okay. We'll do the book. Like, we're going to come by and kill your children. Oh, no, kill our kids. I mean, they would not. It was like snot on a sleeve. We could not get them to say, oh, well, now, how dare you, and walk away. And we did. We published the book, and it was a dreadful, you know, it was well-meaning. You know, You always start with the best intentions, but.
And we never, we pretended as best we could that we were fine with it, but the audience, they can smell it. They know. They're like, you don't like this.
Yeah, well, that book came out, and it came out kind of like the Oni book equivalent, like, here you go, have fun, you know, enjoy the book. That's done.
And that was our first book with a talking rat that we had to get rid of.
That's right.
And then we had a second book. It was just, I don't think Phil Hester will mind telling the coffin comes in with a talking rat. We're like,
no.
No, we can't have a talking rat. No. Like, too many talking rat books, and we'll become that publisher.
Yeah, no, it's, you know, but that's the challenge, you know. I mean, when I was at Dark Horse, for me, some of the fun. I mean, we did it with a lot of books at Kiniko, and the challenge is the fun of it is overcoming all of those challenges, especially with licensed books. You know, how dare you be able to make a really good book out of Robotech, or make a really good book out of Johnny Quest, or make a really good book out of, you know, the Terminator or whatever, because they were always known. I mean, before Kiniko did Robotech, DC did Robotech. They did the Revell model kits, and it was terrible, dreadful. But, you know, and while you look back at what, you know, some of the art that our Robotech books looked like, and you see how much more manga and anime has taken over here, you know, they were good for their time, you know. But to me, that's the most fun, is like, wow, look at these unsurmountable, just, these are the odds of the worst odds. And then you walk away going, I did a pretty good book. Not only did it sell well, but people stood up and said, hey, this is really well done, and here's an award, you know. Or and for me, it's the nomination. I could, you know, getting the win is great, no doubt about it. You know, everybody likes to win. But I always tell every person I work with, every freelancer, it's like, look, when you get that nomination, get drunk.
Yeah.
Have a party, because that is, you know, out of all those books that come out that year, for people to acknowledge you that way, enjoy it, because the night of the Eisners or the night of the Harveys, you're just a bundle of nerves and you feel like crap, and you know, you do get drunk, but you're sick for 3 days. It's even if you win, it's, you know, it's you've got butterflies in your stomach for the next day anyway. So
I think the first year at the Eisners that James Lucas Jones had joined Oni, Judd was up. Like, we had a bunch up, because at that time, like, we would own the nominations. We never would win.
right, but
James is getting drunk, and Judd kept losing, I think, to Tony Millionaire. And as James is getting more drunk, they'd announce the winner, and that guy sucks! Right? I'm like, shut up, James, stop it.
Oh man, no, not good, not
Because
good.
because Brad Meltzer flew in to surprise Judd and was buying tons of drinks for people.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah,
So
I
it's
remember
just
that
like,
night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to James, like, I hate Tony Millionaire. Suck monkey's terrible.
No, see, I just sit there and I get all nervous, and then I get all weepy. You know, the Eisners, I have a lot of fellow pros who, oh, the Eisners, they're so long and boring. Oh, I'd rather do anything but go. I can't believe they still let me in the room. So for me, it's an honor. I wouldn't miss an Eisner ceremony, and I try to go to the Harveys when I can. They're down in Baltimore now, but it's like, wow, look at this. You know, I'm sitting here with Will Eisner. I'm sitting here with Isaac Asimov, or I'm sitting here with Theodore Sturgeon. It's like, oh my God, this is I'm in the same room as Ray Bradbury. This is great. You know.
What's the Indonesian pig lick?
You really want me to tell you an Indonesian picnic? All right. So I was working with Scott Musgrove. He went on this journey, this trek, and he went off to various countries, and he wound up in Indonesia. And he wound up on an island in the middle of a giant lake. So he's got like a backpack, and that's it, and him and a friend. And they are there for a day, and they're eating, and eventually you have to download your food, and somehow you've got to find where there's no men's room, there's nothing. So nobody warned him that basically the places where they lived, all the food fell through the floor, and there were pigs that would eat the garbage, because that's what pigs do, you know. So they had all this garbage down there, but he was never warned that they'll eat anything. So he went out into the woods thinking, okay, I'm nice and quiet and private here, and he dug a little hole and had to go to the bathroom. And while he was going to the bathroom, he got a very, very interesting surprise, as a pig just walked right up and said, "Ooh, look at this. It's like Carvel ice cream." And just started licking away as he was defecating in the woods. And he, of course, jumped in mid-excretion, like, whoa! And the pig was like, what? Hey, I'm still hungry. And I was like, Schreck, I will never forget it. It was the weirdest thing in my life. I had an intimate relationship with a pig in Indonesia. It's like, oh, okay, thank you. But but nobody else but Scott Musgrove would.
But I also can't think of a better metaphor for working on comics.
Yes, there you go.
So one day the pig will lick your ass.
One day, if only, you know.
Well, thank you so much, Bob. Thank you for sharing your drinks and for letting us into your home and
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Nostrovia.
Yeah, Nostrovia.